By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly 3 moves I made that changed my entire financial life. And you can do all of them on a $45,000 salary. No side hustle required, no crypto, no luck. But first, I need to tell you something that your bank, your landlord, and honestly most financial influencers do not want you to figure out. The game, well, is the game. We didn't make the rules. And the rules changed while you were just trying to survive. Let's talk about where we actually are right now, because I think a lot of people are operating under the assumption that this is temporary, that prices are going to come back down, that things are going to normalize. They are not, and I say that with love. Here's what happened. COVID broke global supply chains. Governments injected trillions of dollars into economies that were already running hot. Housing demand went insane because suddenly everyone needed a home office, a backyard, and apparently a sourdough station. And corporate landlords, bless their hearts, looked at all of this and thought, you know what, let's just charge whatever we want. And people paid it. Because what else were they going to do? Inflation has technically cooled since the peak, which sounds great until you realize cooled just means prices are going up slower, not backwards. A loaf of bread does not uninflate. Economists call this a price level reset, which is a very professional way of saying, the floor moved up, it's not coming back. Welcome to the new floor. And here's the part that nobody talks about enough. Wages did go up. Technically. But real purchasing power, what your paycheck actually buys, did not keep pace for most people making under 6 figures. You're making more money and somehow more broke. That is not a personal failure. That is a structural reality. And knowing the difference matters because it stops you from blaming yourself for a problem you didn't create and starts you thinking about how to actually solve it. So, the stakes. If you don't adapt your financial strategy to this economy, the one actually in front of you right now, you will spend the next decade treading water and wondering why nothing is working. That's the cost of playing by the old rules in a new game. Okay, move number 1. And I need you to stick with me here because this one is going to sound counterintuitive and personal finance Twitter is going to hate it. I paid off my mortgage early, aggressively. The standard argument against this is actually solid on paper. If your mortgage rate is 5% and the stock market historically returns 7 to 10% annually, the math says invest the difference, not pay down the mortgage. You come out ahead. That logic is real. I'm not arguing with the math. What I am arguing with is the assumption that math is the only variable, because here's what the spreadsheet doesn't account for. What does it feel like to know that no matter what happens, a recession, a layoff, a medical bill, a genuinely terrible year, that nobody can take your house? There is a psychological freedom in owning your home outright that is very hard to put a number on. And I have found that people who are not stressed about their housing situation make significantly better decisions about literally everything else in their financial life. Financial stress is expensive, not metaphorically, actually expensive. It clouds your judgment. It makes you reactive. It makes you vulnerable to bad decisions when the market dips and your lizard brain starts screaming. Eliminating your mortgage doesn't just free up cash flow every month. It frees up the headspace where good decisions actually get made. Now, is this the right move for everyone? No. If you locked in a 2.5% pandemic-era rate, you are sitting on cheap money and you should probably invest the difference. But if your rate is north of 6%, the math starts flipping. And if you're the type of person who lies awake at night running worst-case scenarios, paying off that debt is a legitimate, defensible wealth strategy. Not a cop-out, not a failure of ambition, a real move. That's move 1. Move 2. And I want to be really clear about what this is not. This is not stop buying coffee. I will not do that to you. I will not sit here with a money ball and tell you that your $6 latte is why you can't retire. That's condescending and also mathematically insignificant. What I'm talking about is the quiet leaks, the invisible spending. Here's an exercise that I want you to actually do this week. Go through your last 3 months of bank and credit card statements. Highlight every single recurring charge. Subscriptions, memberships, free trials that silently converted, apps you downloaded once and completely forgot about. Most people find between $200 and $400 a month in charges they have no memory of agreeing to. That is not money you're enjoying. That is money disappearing in the background while you're busy living your life. The subscription economy is specifically designed to be invisible, small enough amounts that you don't notice, auto-renewed, buried in fine print. You are funding someone else's retirement, one forgotten $12 charge at a time. The second leak is lifestyle inflation. Every time your income goes up, even a little bit, spending tends to rise to meet it automatically. New income, new subscriptions, nicer restaurants, an upgrade to basically everything. This is deeply human behavior. It's also how people making six figures end up broke. The number on your paycheck almost does not matter if your spending is genetically programmed to match it. The fix: when your income goes up, your lifestyle stays flat. Bank the difference first. Automate the transfer so it happens the day your paycheck hits, before your brain gets emotionally attached to the number. The money that never sits in your checking account is the money you actually keep. The next move is the one people always think doesn't apply to them. What does investing actually look like on a $45,000 salary? Let's be specific. $45,000 a year is roughly $3,700 a month take home, depending on your state. That's the real number we're working with. First, if your employer offers a 401k with any kind of match, you contribute at least enough to capture the full match, every single time, no exceptions. That match is part of your compensation. Not using it is the same as turning down a raise. There is no universe in which this is optional. Second, open a Roth IRA. You can contribute up to $7,000 a year in 2026. At $45,000 income, you are well inside the eligibility window. The Roth grows completely tax-free. You put in after-tax money now, and every dollar of growth you never pay taxes on again. Not when it compounds. Not when you withdraw it at retirement. That is a genuinely powerful long-term advantage that most people sleep on, because it sounds boring. It is boring. It also works. Now let me show you what boring actually produces. $300 a month, invested consistently starting at 25, in a broad market index fund averaging 7% annually. By 65, you have approximately $800,000. That's not a motivational poster. That's compound interest doing what it does. Push that to $500 a month and you're looking at over $1.3 million. And I know what you're thinking. I don't have $500 a month right now. I hear you. Start with 50. The habit matters more than the amount in the early years. The person who invests $50 a month at 25 and increases it gradually will almost always out-retire the person who waits until they can afford to invest properly. There is no properly, there is only now. One more thing, stop waiting until you feel ready. Nobody feels ready. Ready is a feeling that shows up about 6 months after you start. So start ugly, start small, just start. So let me bring this home. Being a baller in 2027 has nothing to do with looking rich on the internet. It has everything to do with making moves that your future self will actually thank you for. Paying off the debt that costs you peace of mind. Killing the spending that's buying you nothing. Investing before your brain talks you out of it. We are living through an era where the cost of everything went up, the financial rules changed, and most people are still playing the old game waiting for things to go back to normal. They won't. And that is actually good news for you. Because the people who adapt right now are about to pull significantly ahead of the people who don't. You don't need to make more money to win this game. You need to play it smarter with what you have. That's it. That's the whole thesis. I didn't invent this. I just actually did it. And if you made it this far, you're already different from most people who clicked away in the first 30 seconds because they decided this didn't apply to them. It applies to you. Subscribe if you want more of this. I break down money, economics, and the forces shaping your financial life every single week. No fluff, no fake flexing. If you're already subscribed, send this to someone who needs it. You know exactly who I'm talking about. I'm Raina. I'll see you next time.